God's plan, God's plan. I can't do this on my own, hey, nope.
Hello everybody, welcome to Color Lensing Moment. On today's show, I'll be speaking with Dr. Grace Ijarogbe, who died while giving birth and was dead for 6 long hours. Now what you're about to listen to is the story of how she came back after being dead for 6 hours, remember. Hello Dr. Grace Ijarogbe, thank you for agreeing to be part of this. So on that day, what happened?
That was many years ago, at my first delivery for my first child. We had made all our preparations for that day. We had money aside for surgery, for any procedure that we would take. We were combat ready. The pregnancy went well, it was uneventful, and I was scheduled to give birth 2 days before the day I eventually put to bed. The delivery had been prolonged. The pregnancy was a bit prolonged, 10 days over the date I was given. Okay. And so this night the surgeon admitted me and said I should get my mind ready. The baby comes out tomorrow by whatever means. That meant whether it was surgery, whether it was induction or whatever, this baby had to come out now because the time was going. And so the overnight admission was just for me to settle down into the hospital, sleep well, get myself ready. Nobody prepared for anything. Okay, so everybody went home and we all said our goodbyes and I went to bed. Just shortly before midnight, I woke up with cramps and I yelled out onto the nurse that I was having, these cramps around my abdomen, and she came around and felt me and said, I think you're in labor and that we are almost done. I think the baby's about to come out. So she just wheeled me straight into the theater, called in the surgeons and everybody. And before I knew it, baby had popped out and had delivered. But what should have been so much joy did not come that way because I started bleeding. And everything they did in that theater to stop the bleeding could not arrest the bleeding. I just kept pouring. They gave all the injections. They did all the maneuvers to contract the uterus. Everything, nothing worked. At a point I started getting tired. And I could literally feel my life ebbing away. I looked at the theater floor. It was filled with my blood. My blood was everywhere. They had to transfuse. But then there was no GSM, no lines to cut. That immediate contact was not there. So my husband went out with some other people to look for blood that they would use in transfusion. The blood that they were scheduled to use the day that I was supposed to have procedure the next day, was supposed to be in the bank. But when they got there, they say it had been used and that they were going to give me another one the subsequent day. So they had to be going from blood bank to blood bank looking for blood. Meanwhile, I was in the theater and I was almost out. There were some things I and my husband had never discussed before. And those were things bordering on transfusion and so many other things. So before I passed out, I signed some papers. Because I just felt like, I think I'm dying. It was like the bulbs in my brain were shutting down one by one, like lights were just going out in my head. And I was just like becoming more and more unconscious. And then the next thing I knew, I was outside my body. But I could still see my body on the table. And everybody struggling around that body, doing all their compressions, checking the blood pressure. The blood pressure is down. I'm getting to, it's unrecordable, I'm a physician. So I knew that, something sinister had happened here. And I could see my baby at the side, I was trying to call one of the nurses that, look at the baby is wrapping this sheet around her head, help her and all that. And it was like she couldn't hear me. All the shouting, I was trying to hold on to her. But, it was like I could not touch her. So I knew that, yes, I think I've died, that kind of thing. And then I said, no, it's not possible. I can't be there. They must be able to do something, to bring me back in there. But I couldn't wait. I wanted to wait, but it was not up to me to wait in that theater room. I just found myself leaving that theater room, and it was like I was just traveling in this dark space. Floating in the air? Just floating on. And I could see many shadows, So it occurred to me that it looks like I'm one of these shadows, And honestly, so many people die in a day, in a second, within a short spell of time. all the statistics they give in the world, I wonder if you can capture how many people leave this earth on daily basis, because I just saw all this, you know. But I knew that we were all dead and we were all traveling in space. And then we got to this gulf, and on the other side of this gulf was this very huge light. It didn't look friendly, you know. It looked like, you know, it looked harmful. And then I stopped. I said, no, I'm not ready to cross this gulf.
It just looked like a bright light.
Like it looked like fire. It looked like red, blazing hot fire on the other side of the gulf.
Okay.
And you know, people were hurrying and passing and, you know, going back. And you know, spiritual, I was like, I don't want to cross this gulf. God, I don't want to go back. And you know, my spirit was telling me within me to pray. And the devil actually mocks us in the valley of the shadows of death. Because I think that must have been the devil. This voice was standing strong to me and saying, what is called prayer? Prayer. Were you not in that theater? Didn't you see your blood? You have died. After that, there's nothing left. It's all over. It's all done now. We just move on. But you know, this other spirit really said you have to pray. And you know, everything goes with you when you travel out of your body. My memories were there. I could remember my parents. I could remember everything. You know, I could also remember that, you know, I'd heard before that Jesus raised people from the dead. I'd heard before that, you know, miracles can happen if I can shout the name of Jesus. So I was trying hard to scream, Jesus, Jesus. I was screaming, but there was no voice. I could not hear my voice, but I knew that I was talking. I think over there, maybe there's no speech or something. It's just that you just know. It's a knowing and not a speech. After shouting and screaming for a while, this large, huge being just came behind me. Like I said, it's a knowing. I just knew that, my God, this is Jesus. Very peaceful, very beautiful. And I tell you, I had a temptation to just, why not just go on with him? Why go back into the world? You know? And he just stood behind me and he asked a question. Why do you want to go back? And honestly, at that moment, it was like I wanted to do some exams which I had to pass if I wanted to go back. And my mind was reeling with all manners of things that I should say. I should say that I want to go back and preach. I should say that I would go and do something for the Lord. But that wasn't the answer that came to me. You know, what came to me was the truth. Over there, when you are asked a question, the truth just comes out from you. And the truth was that I wanted to go back and take care of my baby. I wanted to go back and reconcile with my parents. I wanted to go back and mend fences and do some things right that I hadn't done right all those years living as a Christian back there in the world. And I think mercy was upon me because that answer was good enough for Jesus. The next thing I knew, he just grabbed me from behind and lifted me, and I was out of that area, out of that region, out of that pit, and I was back in the theater. And then I just looked at my body and I was back inside that body again. And then I started wriggling, and all the pain came back, all the procedures they had done, you know, all the place they had pinched, all the needle points and all that. Request. Is there any way that you think you are in the traps or loophole of death? There are some situations you think is impossible. The doctors have decreed that nobody goes through this and never live, because those are some of the thoughts that were coming to me. I mean, how many people die in the world? Everybody dies. You are a doctor, you have certified many people dead, you know. People die.
You're
this is the end. Yes, I'm a doctor. I mean, this is the end point. So why beg to go back? There is no going back. This is the final point. So sometimes the thought in our head is that this is the end point. The way we know it in the world, nothing else can be done. But God's miracle can find us. We're able to access this miracle in the name of Jesus. It was so simple. It was too simple to be true. To just cry out on Jesus, and then you are brought back from death back.
How long was this? How long?
This time frame now, at the time they put the time of death at about 1:37.
Yes.
For the registers. Yes. But by the time I came back in, it was past 7 in the morning. Because there was twilight and it was already, you know, bright lights. Yes. So, but in all these 6-7 hours that I was out there, everything happened like it was just like 5 minutes out there. But in that 5 minutes, I traversed the whole world, out of this universe and back to the other side, you know, to and fro. And Jesus is right on the other side, as well as on this side. So whichever part of the world where we're living, whichever phase of life, whether in and out, we must know that Jesus takes this walk with us. I begin to imagine there are people that when they are dying, you know, they also might have this desire to come back and live. They might even have had the thought to pray and call. And this wicked Satan will still have come to them and said, why are you calling out? Just shut down. Just keep quiet and do not pray. You must know that it is not over and it's all over. The good voice told me there. He said, what have you got to lose? Because at the point I did not want to. He said, what have you got to lose? Call on Jesus and fail. And know that you have done everything you can on this way out. But I called on Jesus and he did not fail me. So I challenge everybody, no matter what situation you are going through, what have you got to lose by calling on the Lord to save you in that situation? It may be so dastardly. It may be that you are trapped within a plane that has fallen from the heights, and this is a plane crash and they say everybody is supposed to die. And you're just waiting with everybody. Yes, you feel that, I mean, you know, there is no hole too small, too deep, too tight, too dangerous, where the Lord cannot reach out to save. And so as long as we have the faith, we must know that he can save us.